Hello and welcome to our video. My name is John Watts. I'm a consumer protection attorney in the state of Alabama. And I want to talk to you today about the question, if you have a default judgment against you, but you were never served, is there anything you can do? Because most lawyers will tell you nothing you can do. Or they'll say, well, you have 14 days or maybe 30 days, depending on which court. But let me tell you this, if you were not served, it could be a year later, 2 years later, 5 years later. And this is on my mind because I just got back from court doing this. And so here's how we handle a situation. The whole key is, were you served? Now we have other videos about what that means. Let's assume you were not served. So how do you get rid of the default judgment? You file a motion to vacate or set aside. So a motion is just when we go to the judge and say, Judge, I want you to do something. Judge says, what do you want me to do? I want you to get rid of this judgment. Set it aside, vacate it. So we put that in writing. And then we need to give the judge evidence. Well, evidence of what? Evidence that on the day that they say we were served, so the case I was just up on, it was December 18, 2015. So we've got to provide evidence that on December 18, 2015, we weren't served. Well, how do we do that? Well, were we in the state? Maybe we were out of state on a business trip. All right, well, how do we prove that? Well, here's my airline tickets, here's my hotel bill, here's my registration when I was at a conference. Okay, maybe we were in the hospital. Here's my medical records. Here's when I was admitted to the hospital. I was admitted on the 17th. I got out on the 21st, so obviously I wasn't served on the 18th of December, whenever it was. Maybe we don't live in Alabama anymore. We get this quite a bit. All right, here's my lease papers where I started my apartment rent. Here's my Georgia Power. You can request a letter from Alabama Power, Georgia Power, wherever it might be. Say, give me my dates of service. They normally give that to you very quickly. Here's when you started and then going on down. And so we're just looking for anything that can prove that when they say, I served you in Madison County or Mobile County or Jefferson County, or wherever it was, you go, that's impossible. So we had one guy that they say they served him in Birmingham, but really he's out in Texas. So how do we prove that? Well, we get his pay stubs. We showed he was working that day. And he actually had receipts from when he had bought gas after work. So we could show it was impossible for him to get from Texas to Birmingham. So again, we're just looking for any proof. Now I'll give you one last example, and there's just dozens of examples, but one last example. Let's say that they serve Jack Smith at your house. And they said, Jack Smith is an adult who lives with you. And you go, I live alone. There's never been a Jack Smith living with me. I don't know a Jack Smith. Well, you put that in an affidavit, in a sworn statement. I don't know a Jack Smith. Or maybe they say they served your son, and your son says, I wasn't there. Look, I was in college. Here's when I was taking a test that day. We just look for any evidence. So here's what we want the judge. When the judge reads that motion, the judge says, wow, that's pretty strong evidence. Every time my firm has filed one of these, we want the lawyer on the other side and the judge to look at it and go, well, there's not much you can say about that, because we want that judgment set aside. See, we get that judgment set aside, wiped out, then anything that flows from that judgment, a garnishment of your wages, of your bank account, seizing of your real property or personal property, all that has to get sort of unwound, and we turn back the hands of time. Because if there's no judgment, then these other things that flow from it, they just cease to exist. So obviously get with a lawyer. If you're in Alabama, you can give us a call, 205-879-2447 or alabamaconsumer.com. Get with a lawyer, find out your options, find out, does a lawyer think, if you call us, we'll tell you, hey, we think you have a really strong case or we think you have a weak case. Maybe we can help you think through, here's some forms of evidence that you can pull up so that you can attach those to that motion. And if we represent you, we'll tell you up front, Here's exactly what it's going to cost you. Here's what we think the odds are. And here's what happens after we get the judgment set aside. That does not make the lawsuit go away. So you need a plan in place. What happens after you get the judgment set aside? So if we can help you in any way, just reach out and give us a call, 205-879-2447 or alabamaconsumer.com. You can reach us there. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Bye-bye.